Welcome back. It is Paranormasight, the 7 Mysteries of Honjo. And so far, some characters have survived the night, some have not. And now we continue the investigation into the daytime with our wonderful pair, Ario and Tetsuo. Love these guys. Hajime Yoshimi's death, Nejima's threats of mass murder, the problems just pile up, putting the detectives' goals of collecting the cursed stones in jeopardy. Tsutsumi leaves Ario to handle the investigation while he catches a quick break. Alright, let's go, boys. Sorry for the wait, boss, but I managed to gather some information. Took you long enough. Check it out. What's her name? Swanelope? Swanelope Swoost? Oh, I love her. Somebody's got to have that, like, in a shop or something. Okay. Things at the station were pretty hectic, but I managed to find some info. Let me fill you in. Thanks, the floor is yours. A total of 3 mysterious deaths were confirmed in the area, including the one in this park. So let's start with that one, the young man we found here. He's been identified as Shogo Okie, 25 years old, a regular old office worker who worked around here. He died of asphyxiation due to water in the lungs. He drowned. In the middle of the park? That's not possible. It's gotta be a curse we're dealing with here. About that, isn't this park associated with one of those 7 mysteries too? Yeah, the Whispering Canal. That's right, the Whispering Canal. It doesn't seem like there'd be a link between a canal and death by drowning. Oh, it does seem like there'd be a link. Don't you think? Sharp thinking, Ario. You're starting to get the hang of this. So let's assume they're related. What next? Before that, the body of a woman was found behind a residential complex in Kamizawa. The victim has been identified as Tawako Hayashi, 29 years old. She was an office worker who lived on her own in the area. As for the cause of death, well, yes. The entirety of her body was crushed by some kind of strong external force. No murder weapon was discovered in the area, but considering the way she was found, we're looking for something large, flat, and heavy that could have crushed her in one fell swoop. Hang on, are you saying she was stepped on? Meaning, wash, the foot washing mansion. Exactly. Crushing is the foot washing mansion's modus operandi. The place the body was discovered is also known to be related to the 7 mysteries. Then this is Namigaki's doing? Shit. I knew he'd used it. Judging by the amount of soul dregs, the victim was just a regular person, not a curse bearer. Guess we should report this to Paranormal Affairs. Got it. And as for the 3rd victim, he was identified as Kohei Junouchi. Oh my. 32, a teacher at Komagata High. He was found in the school's courtyard. Cause of death appears to be external trauma from a fall or heavy blow. The impact crushed his arms and legs. Huh. Since he was found in the middle of courtyard, he couldn't have fallen from the gymnasium or the main building. A teacher dying at school. And not just any school. Komagata houses one of the 7 mysteries. That is... fool's procession. Right. It's where the fool's procession is supposed to be. It's too big of a coincidence. We can't rule out the possibility that this death was also the work of the curse. I see. Either way, it seems all 3 victims can be tied to the 7 mysteries. They're probably a curse bearer at the center of it all, pulling the strings. But you've got a point. All these strange deaths do point in one direction. That's right, and Hajime's case wasn't all that different either. He also died of mysterious causes, in a place connected to the 7 mysteries. Problem is that the timing doesn't match up. He died before the curses were activated. Could he have been hit by a different curse? One that didn't have anything to do with the 7 mysteries? That's a thought, but if that were the case, we'd be dealing with a powerful practitioner, one who could pull off a curse like that without using a cursed stone. There aren't many people in this day and age who could do something like that. Oh, really? I see. I don't know too much about that stuff. I'd be more surprised if you did. Well, looking at these deaths, it seems like many of the curse bearers acted last night. But we can't rule out that there were more killings from which the bodies haven't been found. Yikes, I hadn't thought of that. But there is one silver lining. Judging by my own curse stone, it seems that the curses can't be activated while the sun's out. Oh, that's great news. So basically, we're safe during the daytime? Exactly. It's also likely why Najima gave us till dusk. Ah, he must have known the curse stones couldn't be used during the day. Either way, we got till nightfall to settle this. It's time we fleshed out the other curse bearers. Aye aye, boss. Let's do this. At the moment, we only know the identity of 4 curse bearers, you included. Yutaro Namigaki had the foot-washing mansion, and Hideki Araishi had the ever-burning lantern. We've got both their curse stones. And then there's Najima, who claims he has the one-sided read. Yeah, that about sums it up. That's who we know and who they know. The notes are for us. Remember that. I have to remember that. I keep thinking like, oh, how do they know all that? No, it's because I know it. The notes are for me, the player. I need to separate myself better. We'd better figure out who the remaining 5 are, quick. How should we go about looking for them? There's no point in searching blindly without a lead. Let's focus on other things for now. Tracking down Ejime may lead us to the other curse bearers too. Either way, he should be our top priority. He could do some real damage if we don't get him. I also want to look a little more into Yoshimi. I've got a feeling there's some connection there. Aye aye, boss. Sounds like we've got our work cut out for us. I asked around Sumida's Community Safety Bureau, where Yoshimi was stationed. It seems like he was investigating the apparent suicide of a girl named Michiyo Shiraishi. Ah, yeah, I heard about that. He was trying to determine whether it really was a suicide, looking into the height of the building, the force of the impact, her wounds, all that. He must have suspected some kind of foul play, because he ordered a full investigation. But it had already been deemed a suicide, and his superiors told him not to go stirring things up. Huh. What was the evidence? Well, according to the report I found on his desk last night, the body was found at the foot of a building, a ways away from the road. There was no evidence of vehicular collision, so it was ruled as a suicide. But he thought there was more to it? Yes, a truck or other flat-faced vehicle traveling at high speeds could have inflicted similar damage. In other words, sometimes a traffic accident can look an awful lot like a fall. Much like Junouchi. I think. So there's a chance that it wasn't a suicide. Oh, what a terrible way to go. There were no brake marks on the road, meaning it would have been a hit and run. The vehicle would have hit her without slowing down at all. This is turning into quite the grisly case. But the vehicle couldn't have come out from a collision like that unscathed. Exactly, so I asked the traffic bureau to keep an eye out for any vehicles with frontal damage. But I haven't heard back from them yet. I don't think they're looking very hard. Also, it's been a while. Person's either hiding the vehicle or maybe they could have gotten it repaired. So we've got no proof. That said, if it was a traffic accident rather than a suicide, it's possible that someone silenced Yoshimi because he was on the verge of discovering the truth. That's true. You think the driver is the one who did him in? Not quite. Yoshimi had already talked to forensics and the traffic bureau, right? His death wouldn't have covered things up. Then why bring it up? You're right on that. Even if the suicide was a cover-up for a hit and run, it doesn't seem like enough reason to kill a cop. Oh, that's right. Unrelated, but I got something else too. I managed to get a hold of Michiyo Shiraishi's address. Yoshimi went there a bunch over the course of his investigation. Might be a good idea for us to drop by too. Good thinking. Hopefully that'll give us some more leads. Alright, let's move on to the next topic. Remember the girl Yoshimi met the day he died? One Hitomi Okuda? Community Safety didn't have any contact information for her on hand. Not even an address? Well, they had her parents' information, but when I called, they said they hadn't heard from her in a month. Lots of family issues from the sound of it. They even said they didn't want anything to do with her anymore. That said, she still goes to school once in a while, so you might have been able to find her there. Not sure we really have the time for a stakeout right now, but she could be a key witness. Can't we have Community Safety track her down for us? We can ask, but it might be tricky to get it done today. For starters, Komagata High School is closed today. Because of that teacher that died? That's right. Alright. If it's not something we can do today, we may have to forget about it. Let's move on then. I got some information about Yoshimi's fiancée from Community Safety. Her name is Mayu Chuzawa, 27 years old. She works as a beautician in the area. Look, I even managed to get a picture of her. She sure is a beauty. But... oh boy, here it comes. But what? Safety Community hasn't been able to contact her since Yoshimi died. Not by phone or at her house. In other words, no response. Dead silence. There it is. Can things just be easy for once? Ooh, she is beautiful. Love it. She's fashionable. It's definitely starting to look suspect. A crime of passion, perhaps? It is fairly common for people to be killed by a lover or a spouse. But Yoshimi was well liked, and they'd been together for over 10 years. You never know. Things could be different behind closed doors. I guess so. But we'll have to consider the opposite scenario too. It could be that the same person who was out for Yoshimi is after his fiancée as well. She could be in danger. You're right. Either way, she's important to the case. HQ already has people looking for her. We'll know as soon as she's found. HQ has mobilized a search unit for Najima. But so far, we haven't received any word. Guessing he wasn't at home or at work? About that, apparently he vacated his last known address a week ago. You serious? So we have no idea where he lives? It gets worse. I checked in with the factory he was working at. They told me he was only there for a month before he quit. Hold on a second. You're telling me nobody caught that? Well, I had the same thought, so I spoke to his probation officer. Turns out he'd been doing house visits and interviews, but never bothered checking on his workplace. He also said he'd lost track of Najima when he moved to a new place. What the fuck? What kind of fucking shit is that? Jeez, that's just sloppy. Exactly. I've heard that they're giving parole to just about anyone these days because they're running out of room in the prisons. Which also means there aren't enough probation officers to go around. Dude's probably overworked. Okay, maybe, but hello, what did Najima do? And that was a super notorious case, and you're just gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna go to check up on that one as much. Oh my god. I don't know, man. That sucks. So Najima got to fuck about unsupervised. God damn it. That asshole is annoyingly good at faking remorse, or insanity, whatever the situation calls for. Back when I arrested him all those years ago, just talking to him left a bad taste in my mouth. He's probably hiding under a false name, which will make it hard to track him down. That explains why he so brazenly made contact. Asshole, he's mocking us. Well, for now, the paperwork to circulate his name and mugshot is being filed. It's gonna take way too long. We only have until dusk. Speaking of Najima, yeah? Did you manage to reach your daughter? It'd be best to put her into protective custody as soon as possible. Not yet. I can't reach her. They called, but she's not picking up. Wasn't home when they went to the house either. That's not good. Does that mean she never came home? And why weren't you the one trying to reach her? Shut up. I don't have her contact info, alright? Damn, she really doesn't trust you, huh? Either way, I told her mother that it was an emergency and that we send an officer to find her and get her to safety. She was real reluctant, but I got her to agree. I guess that explains why you got divorced. But if you, her former father, can't find her, how the hell did Najima do it? Former father? He's still her father? What are you talking about, Ariel? What the fuck? Former, eh? That cuts deep. Yeah, seriously. Yikes. Sorry, it just kind of slipped out. Anyway, I suspect it has something to do with his curse echo. Back on topic already, huh? He said his curse could kill a lot of people in a short time. It may even allow him to act from a distance. I see. The one-sided read. What was that story about again? Something about a man stalking a woman who goes insane and chops her up. Oh, right. One of the more gruesome of the 7 mysteries. Ew, and that's exactly what he did, IRL. As for Najima's whereabouts, all we can do is throw more people at it till we find something. I'll check with HQ frequently to see if they've got any updates. And that's about it. Shall we continue our investigation? You could go to Komagata High School to look into Hitomi Okuda or to Michiyo Shiraisi's house to find out more about her. I think the school might be good. Because for one, I know that it's closed. It's closed and nobody's... Nobody's there, right? Like, the school board would have to be there. Let's go... Oh. Let's move on. With dusk fast approaching, they have no time to waste. With that in mind, Tsutsumi and Ario direct their investigation toward Komogata High School and the Shiraishi residence. Okay, so it's both. Let's go to the scene of the most recent death. Here we are, Komogata High. Classes are suspended for the day, so the students are just kind of wandering around aimlessly. Look at the ghosts! Yoshimi also looked out for these students as a Sumida city officer. Juvenile delinquency has been a growing problem for years now. This school is no exception. Juvenile delinquency. The midpoint of the Showa era saw a marked increase in delinquency among young people. A wave of violent incidents targeting teachers as well as students, and often involving weapons, consumed the nation's middle and high schools. Bosozoku motorcycle gangs also enjoyed their heyday around this time. Japanese arrest rates reached a historical peak during this period, and pompadoured Yankees and female sukeban delinquents became a common sight on the streets. This youth rebellion is often framed as a reaction to universal education policy or the pressure of highly competitive entrance exams, but its causes are likely manifold, extending far beyond the deficiencies of the education system. The school gate will stay locked while forensics inspects some of the scene of the incident. Looks like they're still busy. Let's talk to the person in charge later. Let's talk to them now. This place isn't only connected to the case because the students were under Yoshimi's jurisdiction. It's also the rite of the Fool's Procession, and of course, where that teacher was killed. Seems like a likely place to find some clues, don't you think? Yeah. Oh, right. Speaking of schools. What is it? You said Paranormal Affairs can't help us right now. So why don't we get that psychic high schooler you mentioned to help us? A lot of people involved in this case lead back to this school anyway, so it might make things easier to have them with us. For a guy who questioned me on the legality of working with him, you sure seem eager to exploit underage labor. Hey, who said anything about exploiting them? I just want to give our young experts the opportunity to shine. When did you become such a smooth talker? Anyway, I'm afraid I don't know where they are. Oh, I see. I wonder if there's anyone who could help us out scout the area. I wonder too. No, repeat. Oh, it's a polling place and evacuation center. Talk to the people. The news of the dead teacher has also attracted a fair share of rubberneckers. The atmosphere is kind of tense with this many cops around. True. Okay. I guess we'll move. It seems like Michiyo's house is at the end of this road. Looks kind of dirty. We don't want to intimidate them, so maybe I should go alone. So, the Shiraishi household. There is a chance that Michiyo didn't actually kill herself. It might be for the best that we didn't find her parents. Huh? The houses are really crammed together in these narrow alleyways. Strangers like us walking through definitely stand out. It really feels like old Tokyo. Yes! Bald eagle! Illegal eagle. God, I want these so bad. What's this? Oh, gameplay guide. Weird. Anyway. It's quiet. This place is normally pretty lively, full of people coming and going. But it seems like everyone's decided to stay inside because of the recent incidents. That makes sense. Alright, I'll go check the house. Hello? Ah! Oh, okay. It's just you. Oh, you're back. No luck, boss. No one home? Doesn't look like it. I knocked for a while, but nobody came to the door. I glanced in the windows, but there was no sign of activity inside either. And I saw about 3 newspapers stuffed into their mailbox. Ariel looks kinda disappointed. Okay. Let's go ahead and suspend that. And let's go check up on these peeps. Throughout the night, Richter continues to gather information about the cursed stones, while Haruo lies awake until dawn, preoccupied by the prospect of bringing her lost child back to life. Good morning, ma'am. How are you feeling? I'm fine. I hope we can make good progress today. How's your curse stone looking? I haven't felt anything from it since sunrise. Interesting. It's possible that its powers can only be unleashed at night, then. That aside, why are you so late this morning? There are unfortunately some things that can't be investigated while the world slumbers. But I did get some research done in what limited time I had. Very well. Let's talk. By the way, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. And what's that? Our current plan is to steal a curse stone that's already absorbed soul drakes, but I'm wondering if it would suffice to not steal, but instead negotiate with the curse bearer and have them use the right for our purposes? Oh? I mean, I suppose that would accomplish the same, but do you think it's possible? So long as we offer compensation, it may prove much easier than you'd expect. Compensation. Cash, for instance. That wouldn't be off the table for a family as rich as the Shigimas, would it? Of course. Why, any amount would be fine if it'd get the job done. I won't let monetary matters lead me to regrets the way it did back with the ransom. Okay, with that option on the table, let's figure out our strategy. I'm wondering, so could this whole thing be about exploitation? It has to be. I mean, there's no doubt. Stickers? No? Okay. Do you have a curse bearer with whom we can negotiate in mind? Not yet. Surprisingly, it seems the other curse bearers haven't been that proactive about collecting soul dregs. Did you see the news this morning? No, I haven't. Overnight, 3 mysterious deaths were reported in this area. They've yet to announce the identities of the bodies found, but they've been nicknamed the Honjo serial killings. It's garnered quite some attention on the streets. Oh my. Only 3? That's what I thought. Even if the victims were curse bearers, just 1 or 2 wouldn't be enough soul dregs. And for what those curse stones are capable of, a mere 3 victims seems a little on the low side. With this little activity all through the night, the curse bearers must be a cautious bunch. What's holding them back? Are we not all after the power of resurrection? There may still be some undiscovered victims, but it doesn't seem like anyone has gathered enough soul dregs yet. We might have to set up some bait to spur them into action. And then we offer them the deal. None of the curse bearers seem very proactive. I wonder if this situation could be what the mastermind who kicked it off, all off intended. Now that's an interesting theory. You think there's someone behind all this, or this all? You mentioned hearing an agonized voice telling you to kill when you first obtained the curse stone. That doesn't sound like a coincidence to me. Someone agitated the curses in this area on purpose, and they are likely after the rite of resurrection as well. So you're thinking this person is not one of the curse bearers? You've got a sharp mind, ma'am. Though it might be obvious for the mastermind to become a curse bearer and collect soul dregs if they were after the rite. This would be very risky, since as a curse bearer, they themselves would become a target. So it'd actually be more convenient for them if the curse bearers moved less aggressively. That's right, but despite that, they've been inciting the curse bearers to commit murders. Why? Let's consider this. What if the mastermind isn't trying to collect the soul dregs themselves? You mean their intention was also to steal the souls while the other curse bearers compete with each other from the start? Sitting back and observing from the sidelines is the safer course of action. Which is why I figured it best for us to attempt the same strategy. So how should we do it? There's still reason to suspect the mastermind could be a curse bearer themselves. To be honest, I want to keep my distance from whoever it is. There's no telling what kind of power they might possess. Whether our aim is to negotiate or steal, we'll have to outpace the mastermind in making contact with the other curse bearers. How do you suppose we do so? At this point, all we can do is search. If there's a mastermind inciting the curse bearers to collect soul dregs, can we be sure there even is a rite of resurrection? Good question. The rite could be nothing but a myth fabricated to spur the curse bearers into action. Seeing it might be for naught. Do you want to give up, ma'am? Never. Understood. After all, we'll never know the truth unless we see it for ourselves. But we'll do it without using the curses ourselves. By the way, I met a few people who seemed like potential curse bearers last night. I did some investigating into all of them, but I only managed to get detailed information on 2. You're quick. I suppose that's to be expected from an investigator extraordinaire. I appreciate the flattery. First, there's Aya Mitono, the girl we talked to before, though she isn't a curse bearer herself. Sir, where's your guyliner at the bottom? She's a student attending T University of Art. I wonder if it's Tokyo University. She currently lives alone in an apartment near Midoricho Park. You even determined her address. You're not one to be underestimated, Mr. Investigator Extraordinaire. I called every single university in Ukiyo-e, with Ukiyo-e in the curriculum, pretending to be her parent. I went around to check on her place on the way here. It doesn't seem like she returned home last night. I'm worried she might have run into some trouble. Didn't you attempt to follow her last night? I'm embarrassed to say, but I couldn't. She shook me. I couldn't keep track of her. And here I thought you were an investigator extraordinaire. I'd like to learn more about her, but it would take some time. She is planning to steal the curse stones just like us. It's best we act carefully around her. Next is the tall man who is dressed in black. I met him near Michiyo, who stood out with the way he was dressed. I managed to get some good information on him. Impressive. What can I say? Yep. He works as a secretary to Hihako Soap's chairwoman. I believe his name is Takumi Yumioka. The Hihako Soap's headquarters and factories are both located in Honjo, correct? Yes, they've been here for a while, but it's only in the past 10 years that the company has shown significant growth. I remember seeing the chairwoman on the news a few years back. She seems to be very shrewd. With the increase in sales, I assumed she'd want her factories running at full capacity. But with the harsh restrictions against industrial waste, a lot of the factories with older equipment had to be shut down. That's right. Even 10 years ago, there were many complaints about chemical plants dumping waste into the water, into the river. I just made up a word that wasn't there. Most companies back then were more concerned with making a profit than protecting the environment. I wonder what a man working for such a company would have been up to in the middle of the night. On the way here, I stopped by the company's headquarters, but they hadn't started for the day. I should have better luck later. Let's hope you will. Perhaps they're interested in seeing if the ride could be beneficial for their product research into beauty and skincare. Now that's an interesting thought. Eternal youth. I ran into one more suspicious young man last night. Shogo! This one seemed to be out collecting soul dregs, right? Oh, indeed. I couldn't get a good look at him though, and I couldn't gather enough intel to properly identify him. Well, that's a shame. But I can make an educated guess. Oh? You know that researcher who discovered the ancient text on the rite of resurrection? The one that lives near here? His name is Hideki Araishi, and the man I met was very similar in stature. Oh my, even he is involved. How awfully suspect. Considering his background, couldn't he be the one who initiated the whole affair? I think it's possible, yes. Which is why I decided to refrain from making contact with him for the time being. Safety first. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, because he is wanting to get a hold of the cursed stones to find out what their memories are so he can continue his research and make some money. Understandable. Of course, I want to learn more, but this isn't the right time to focus on him. I prefer to ascertain who else is a cursed bearer. First, I'll return to Hihako Soaps to see that man in black. Oh, that's right. I didn't kill him either because he was supposed... There's so many weird things happening. Because Shogo killed him with his curse, supposedly. Allegedly. But his body wasn't there, only Shogo's was in the park. We'll see. Their headquarters are down on South Warigesui Street. the kidnapping. I learned something new about the criminal involved with the kidnapping. It concerns the serial killings. There was a body found at Komogata High School. The person was identified as a school teacher. His name was Kohei Junouchi. Do you think he was a curse bearer? Not sure. It's possible. But regardless, this means the two people who knew the truth about the kidnapping are both dead. Just when we were getting somewhere. It isn't enough to make me give up, of course. Still, we don't know anything about Michiyo Shiraisi's residence. It'd be wise to pay it a visit. Understood. Oh, that's it. In addition to the 3 victims associated with the Honjo serial killings, there's Michiyo Shiraishi, who reportedly committed suicide, and the police officer who died at the former Yasuda Gardens. If strange deaths continue occurring like so, they're bound to inspire strange rumors. But those last 2 have nothing to do with the 7 mysteries, no? It's true. Both occurred a week before this accursed situation began. Still, it cannot be ruled out. It's possible that the mastermind was involved even with those killings. How? What if there were preliminary steps to awakening the 7 mysteries' curses? Can we really assume they're unrelated just because the timing doesn't match up? Or rather, the police officer's death is so baffling that it'd be easier if it were connected to these curses. The victim wasn't the type to be caught off guard easily. You seem to know a lot about this. I suppose we weren't strangers. My personal feelings might be wrapped up in this one too. I see. If you were to investigate this matter more, you might get a lead on the mastermind. You're right. If we wish to focus on the mastermind's identity, this would be a fine starting point. We might even discover more deaths related to the curses along the way. We should pay attention to today's news. Well, that's all I had to report. Shall we continue with our investigation? What do you want to do? If you still can't use the curse stone, taking a walk should be a fine place to start. Right, let's go together. I want to see what's going on for myself. In that case, I'll trust you to decide on where we should go, ma'am. The Hihako Soap's headquarters are on the other side of South Body Gesui Street. What is that? Oh, I thought that was something on the ground. That's a stupid hand. Oh my god. They were closed when I visited this morning, but it appears things are up and running now. To think a small soap-making company could grow so much in such a short time. They have factories and warehouses throughout the area now. You can see why director and now chairwoman Natsue Yamamori is called the Queen. Queen. A chemical producer that ranks 4th largest in the domestic detergent market and 7th largest in the cosmetics market. From its humble beginnings as a small soap factory established after the war in 1946, founder Natsue Yamamori utilized her feminine perspective and a well-timed economic boom to boldly lead the company into new markets. Even as the market grew crowded with the industrialization of Sumida City, the company continued to expand, digging its roots deep into the area. In particular, it established itself as a household name by focusing its branding towards the rapidly expanding convenience store market. Its flagship products now include cosmetics, detergent, soap, shampoo, and more. The company's name, Hihaku, can also refer to kasuri, a type of patterned fabric. there she is. Natsue is the former president of Hihaku Soaps, a large chemicals company. Though she retired from her position 2 years ago, she still wields great influence over the company from her position of chairwoman. Recently, there have been rumors about her possessing strange and powerful magical abilities, earning her the nickname the Witch of Hihaku. But she's the mastermind. Prior to the war, Natsue enjoyed working her dream job at a textile factory. She was forced to face the bitter reality of the world, however, when the factory was destroyed by a fire during the war, and she was ordered to rework the fabrics she had painstakingly crafted into something more suitable for blue-collar work. Witnessing the rise and popularity of Western-style clothing in the post-war period, Natsue left the textile industry. However, a nod to her past can be seen in her company's name, with Hihaku being another name for kasuri, a type of fabric featuring patterns and images woven with dyed fibers. Having long been dissatisfied with the soap supplied at the textile factory, Natsue saw a business opportunity and set up her own small soap factory. Taking inspiration from imported soap brands, she developed new products which quickly gained a good reputation. Ever the shrewd businesswoman, Natsue ran an aggressive promotional campaign on TV featuring a popular Japanese singer, rapidly turning Hihaku Soaps into a household name. You go, girl. You mentioned that Takumi works as her secretary? That's correct. Do you think it's possible he's acting on her orders? That's exactly my thinking. A curse bearer with both money and power could certainly look at resurrection as their next prize. What if she's trying to be like, resurrect me? Oh my god. Negotiating with a person of that stature may prove difficult. Business is up and running. I can see people inside the reception area. Back in the Edo period, the canal known as South Warigasui ran through this area, but it's been turned into a major road. It's a bit away from Kinshicho Station or Ryogoku Station, though it's still considered a nice area. The stories of the ever-burning lantern and the foot-washing mansion both took place around here. One of the bodies discovered this morning was found by this road as well. This is quite a lively area, huh? I suppose you could call it somewhat of a city center. A warigasui, literally meaning partitioning ditch, refers to a waterway dug around the middle of a road so as to divide it. At the dawn of the Edo period, the Honjo district was little more than a collection of suburban rice farms. As the area became more developed, the South Warigasui was excavated in order to drain rainwater into the Yokojikan River to the east. Though it served the people long and faithfully, it was converted into an underground culvert at the beginning of the Showa era. In the present, no trace of it remains on the surface but the street that bears its name. Oops. First, I need to confirm whether Takumi is the man I ran into last night. Then I'll be able to determine if he's a curse bearer. It'll be better if I go inside the headquarters alone. You should walk around, visit a cafe for some tea perhaps? Are you gonna? So, an influential person at Hihaku Soaps is potentially a curse bearer. Richter proposed we use money to negotiate for the cursed stones. But we could hardly outbid a large corporation if it came down to it. So she was hoping there was going to be somebody who would easily just take the money. Okay, I guess I could move. To the park. We're here. This is Midoricho Park. Ayame Tono lives around here. She wasn't in her apartment when I dropped by this morning. I wonder if it's worth checking again. This place is connected to the story of the Taiko of Tsugaru. Not only that, Katsuhika Hokusai's home was also in this area. Oh, Katsushika, sorry. That might be why Ayame chose to live here, and she's obsessed. A small park bordering South Warigasui Street, sporting a mixture of cherry and evergreen trees. Although unremarkable in most respects, its small playground always attracts a number of children come evening. While no trace remains in the modern day, it stands on what was once the site of the Tsugaru estate. The legendary artist Katsushika Hokusai is also believed to have been born in the vicinity. Bird! Oh, good going, man! You found haiku! That's a rare one! Haiku! Is it now? Look at him! Haiku! I love him too! We won't get much done standing around here. Why don't I go and check out Ayame's apartment? You don't mean to speak with her, do you? No, I'd prefer to get an idea of what she's been up to. I'd like to see whether she's been home or not, just to potentially get a trace on her movements. Then be my guest. Okay, I shouldn't be long. I'm back, ma'am. So, nothing? I'm afraid so. She still hasn't returned. However, I noticed a few people who seem to be related to the police force keeping watch in the area. I don't know if they got their eyes on her apartment, but they do appear to be watching the building it's in. Interesting. You've got a sharp eye to have noticed them despite them being so covert. What can I say? It's part of the job. However, it meant I had to refrain from knocking on her door or looking through her windows. I wasn't able to check her electric meter or mailbox either, unfortunately. You were planning to go that far? I mean, yeah, he's gotta do that. What a waste of time. We should move on quickly. Oh, okay. Let's do that then. Maybe to the high school? Here we are at Ground Zero, Komagata High School. I guess it's logical that the police has got this place shut down. The teacher's body was found here after all. It's as if the students have nowhere to go now that the school's closed. This place is said to be connected with the story of the Fool's Procession. I wouldn't be surprised if a curse bearer decided to turn up. However, I need to find out if that teacher was a curse bearer or not. I expect the police will be baffled since they don't know about the curses. I can ask around to see what the students have to say. Yeah. Alright, I'll go ask the students about Michiyo. I'm back, ma'am. So what did you learn? That school kids sure love a good rumor. I was practically drowning in stories about Mr. Junouchi and Michiyo, most of which seemed dubious at best. Not surprising. Most of what I heard was hardly worth a second thought. But there was one story that caught my attention. Oh. Some believe that Michiyo was the one who killed Mr. Junouchi. Really? The story's got two pieces of evidence to back it up. One of them wasn't news to me. Apparently, he's been mumbling that Michiyo is going to kill him for some days now. A fellow teacher overheard his mumbling and told the students. And then it spread like wildfire, I suppose. Rumors that juicy don't stay a secret for long. As for the other piece of evidence, a pigtailed girl in her school uniform was seen around school late last night. Go on. Although numerous people claim to have seen the girl, not one of them saw her face. Some are proposing it was Michiyo brought back to life, or that it was her vengeful spirit. But it's not like Michiyo is the only high school girl to wear pigtails. This rumor might have been made up just to fan the flames. But if it were true, I'd want to get a hold of her in order to hear her side of the kidnapping. If she's alive, that'd be ideal. There's still one more thing I should mention. I discovered where Michiyo lived. A student had a list of student addresses on hand. That's an amazing find. I believe all of the students actually have a copy of said list. It truly worries me how easy it is to obtain what should be confidential information. Imagine what would happen if that information got into the wrong hands. Well, so far it hasn't, no. Sure, let's hope it stays that way. In the meantime, it's now possible for us to visit Michiyo Shiraishi's house. Let's go. How did it go? I went to visit her home, however. No one seemed to be there. I got no answer at the door, and all the lights were out. It seems to have been empty for a while now. There was a stack of newspapers out front. Social connections run deep in working class areas like this place, so I decided to talk to the locals. I met a few nice old ladies who were kind enough to give me the scoop. Turns out the Shiraishi's reputation really went down the dumps this past year. Is that so? I'll give you the quick summary. They moved here about 3 years ago. Their previous residence was in a better part of town. Michiyo's father died in a car accident, leaving behind just the two of them. Michiyo's mom, Toshiko, now a single mother, relocated here. At first, they got along with their neighbors, many of which were in similar situations, helping and being helped in turn. So far so good. What happened? Well, as I said, their reputation began to go downhill about a year ago. A man recognized as Toshio's common-law husband had moved into the household. His name was apparently Kankichiro Awai. Neighborhood gossip is something else. Somehow everyone knew his name. So what of this Iwai character? He was apparently a vulgar fellow with a criminal record. He was prone to violent outbursts. The neighbors often heard screams and shouting coming from the home. The neighbors took particular notice of Toshiko's screams, pleading with him not to hit Michiyo. That's terrible. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, every night, The neighbors also began to hear an eerie chanting. Though through this, the shiraisi standing in the neighborhood plummeted quickly. Toshiko was often seen covered in bruises and wounds. She stopped responding to her neighbors. She would just turn the other way when greeted. They kept their storm shutters closed even during the day and effectively shut themselves away from the entire community. That sounds horrible. Why didn't the police step in and do something? Unfortunately, under our current laws, the police aren't allowed to get involved with domestic disputes. That's awful. And then Michiyo reportedly killed herself. Things only got worse with Iwai, and Toshiko was admitted to the hospital for physical and mental abuse. Ever since, Iwai hasn't returned to the home. Many locals expressed sympathy for Michiyo's circumstances, but just as many were fed up with the shiraishis entirely and seemed relieved that things finally quieted down again. It seems they were still considered outsiders, even after 3 years of living here. I don't understand it. Why would Toshiko have gotten involved with such a brutish, good-for-nothing in the first place? I've heard many stories where one partner's personalities does a complete turn after entering a relationship. After her first husband's death, Toshiko's financial situation had also taken a turn for the worse. She was determined to send her daughter to a good high school. It's possible she fell victim to sweet promises. Life can be tough, I suppose. You don't seem moved by the story, ma'am. That's fine. People have all kinds of stories. Look at this guy. He has served time in prison. Details are unknown. But the Shiraishi certainly hadn't lucked out with theirs, bringing such a violent man into it. Let's see. Working class, think. The Shiraisis were dealt a tough hand. I can't imagine what it was like. Could it be the girl was forced by her circumstances to take part in the kidnapping? What if her dad was the one, her stepfather? Okay, now what? Oh, this is new. I was like, wait, this looks familiar. No, this is new. He knew about the 7 mysteries. He even guessed we have a curse stone of our own. Excuse me? I tried to approach Takumi about a fallen item after I ran into him last night. However, you said your name was Richter, correct? I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. I'm hoping you would hand over the curse stone in your possession. Curse stone? What are you on about? There's no need to play dumb with me. In fact, there's no time for it. I had all the same reason you did to think you were a curse bearer last night. And your arrival here only confirms it. You are a curse bearer, no? You're right, we lack time. I'll confess, I am a curse bearer. I possess the cursed stone of the haunting clappers. I'm glad to hear the truth. Finally, this conversation is worthwhile. It is a dangerous item you hold. Give it to me. My company will take the responsibility to dispose of it. I didn't know the soap business specialized in scrubbing curses clean. It is the prerogative of Ms. Yamamori. Is that so? Assuming you've obtained the curse, you understand the power it involves, no? Ms. Yamamori possesses supernatural powers akin to those of a god. She also has a deep love for this land, having transformed it from the pile of dirt it once was to the home of our headquarters. She cannot stomach the fact that it's now the site of these curses run rampant. So you're telling me the Queen of Hihaku is a real-life witch? She wouldn't appreciate being called that, mind you. There's a sorcerer by the name of Suigen Gamyodo, who's gallantly working behind the scenes, exorcising spirits and the like. Go on. That being so, there have already been instances of the dead coming back to life. Do you understand the urgency of this matter? These are curses we're speaking of, tools which are used by wicked beings to possess people. The rite of resurrection is nothing but a fabrication meant to seduce the curse bearers into unspeakable action. If you truly understand what I'm talking about, you must hand over that curse stone at once. Very interesting. With that said, just how many curse stones have you acquired so far? If what you tell me is true, surely the company would have launched a large-scale search by now. We have 6. 6? Whoa, I can rest at ease then. And here I thought I was at risk of being cursed. It seems we are on the same page. If that is the case, you should hand over your curse stone immediately. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's not actually in my possession at the moment. Considering its importance, I've been keeping it in hiding. Really now. Then I'll accompany you while you retrieve it. I'm sorry, but I've got something important to attend to, but I promise I'll return with it later. Very well. Then you won't refuse to provide your address and telephone number, I presume. How prudent of you. I'll oblige. And that's how it went. So they aren't after the right after all? I wouldn't be so quick to trust him. Oh. I believe we're dealing with a master in deception. He may well have made up a story to convince us to part ways with our stone. True, because he made it up with Shogo. I think he was lying about having procured 6 curse stones as well. Like, really? 6? That's excessive. Well, now I feel gullible. The company is plotting something. I wonder what they mean to do with these curse stones. He seemed rather desperate to get a hold of ours, despite us not having collected any soul dregs. Perhaps the people at Hihaku are the masterminds behind the curses being unleashed. Because the chairwoman's a witch. I wonder about that too. If she really were that powerful, would her secretary have divulged that information so casually? Takumi was either making it up as he went, or he's trying to spread a rumor. For what purpose would he do that? Recently, people have been caught up about the occult more than ever before. If word spreads that Hihaku's chairwoman has godlike powers, she could very well benefit socially and politically from that mystique. That's unsettling. That is unsettling. By the way, there's one more thing of interest I heard while in the company's reception lobby. And what's that? People were discussing whether one of the bodies found this morning was that of a Hihaku employee. Really? So long as the officials haven't revealed the identity, It all amounts to no more than speculation, though. Despite that, I have reason to believe Hihaku Soaps is deeply involved with the 7 mysteries. At the very least, I can assure you I've gathered that much. The more we know, the better our negotiations will go. Oh, so you came here too? What is it? Could you repeat what you know one more time for me, Richter? Oh, man. Oh, man. And that's scene. All right. Let's go ahead and check on the girls. Bringing her friend back from the dead means she'll have to pay the price. Yako makes it home safely, but still isn't sure how to proceed with her curse. She worries about Miyo as the night passes. Oh, good. She's alive. Oh, good morning, Yako. Yako, rise and shine. Huh? You're up. Huh? It's morning? Are you okay? Can you remember your name? I'm Yako Sakazaki, the Spectre of the Spirit Board. I want to say that. Yes, I am the Spectre of the Spirit Board. No, don't fall back asleep. You must still be dreaming. Wake up! Oh. Yes, I'm Yako Sakazaki. Good. Oh, Miyo. Thanks for last night. Was everything okay? Yep, still alive. I couldn't dispel the curse echo or learn the identity of who used it, but he managed to at least get away. But in that situation, it's the best you can hope for. I'm sorry I got you involved in something so dangerous. I mean, to look for you as soon as the sun rose. I meant to look for you as soon as the sun rose, but I was just so sleepy. I can't even remember when I fell asleep. It's okay. It's only natural to be exhausted after what you went through. Besides, I also feel bad that you've been wrapped up in all of this. It's supposed to be my job to prevent that from happening. Oh yeah, you said something about that last night. Just who are you exactly, Miyo? Oh, well, the truth is, I've been trained in things having to do with the supernatural. Huh? You mean you can learn that kind of stuff like you would with flower arranging? I had quite the eventful childhood. Huh, that sounds like it must have been tough. Yes, it would take a long time to explain, so let's leave it at that for now. As fate would have it, I've ended up as the apprentice, or maybe more like assistant, to a notable paranormal expert. Schools have always had more paranormal disturbances because young people tend to have be more susceptible to these things. I'm sent to schools that may experience something paranormal and put a stop to it before it happens. Wow, that's amazing! So it's like a part-time job you do while also being a student? Well, I do help maintain public order, but it's all part of my training, so I don't get any money. Okay, you've got it rough then. But still, that's really amazing. You were so cool when you faced off against the evil spirit. I never know if I should be happy when you compliment me like that. But anyways, that's why it's up to me to resolve any paranormal issues at the school, and why I'm going to look into the cause of all this. But for now, let's head to school. Yeah. Oh, do you have your curse stone? Now that it's daytime and its power is diminished, I should be able to hold on to it. Want to give it a try? Right, I do have it, but... Yako? Is it really so wrong? Trying to bring Michiyo back, I mean. I can't approve of it. The rite may seem like a dream come true, but if it involves taking the lives of other people, then... Yeah, true. I want to make sure this whole ritual ends without anyone getting hurt. That's what I believe, and what I'll put before anything else. I'm sorry, but is it okay if I hold on to it? Yako, I promise I won't use the curse no matter what. But maybe there's some other way. I just have this feeling that I shouldn't give up on the possibility just yet. That said, I'll help you, even if it's to stop the curses. For the Michiyo that still exists within me, I'll settle things so that we can move forward. Okay, but if you ever feel in danger, you have to give me the curse stone at any point. Oh, you can give me the curse stone at any point. Right. Thank you, Mio. Okay then, let's go. Candy Shop Senoya. An old-fashioned candy shop located on a street corner in Honjo. It has been in Yako Sakazaki's family for 3 generations. On the weekends, you can spot Yako watching over the store, cooking monjayaki, and playing traditional tops and card games with the local children. Though traditional candy shops are known for selling cheap treats for kids, it is not uncommon to see these largely privately owned businesses become something more like general stores, selling food, drinks, utensils, and other daily necessities. Many families can operate candy shops on the dirt ground floor of their home, known as a doma, with a space in the back where customers can eat monjayaki, as well as arcade games and capsule toy machines in the front. Such facilities make them attractive places for children to gather and play. However, the harsh reality is that traditional candy shops, which thrived during the period of high economic growth when many confectionery manufacturers entered the market, are experiencing a steady decline due to the rise of convenience stores and changes in children's interests and tastes. I do love the historical context this game offers. Huh? I thought it unusually noisy. There's a big group of people and police in front of the school. Did something happen? If the police are here, then something must have. I'll go ask. Thanks. This isn't good. Huh? What happened? Don't panic, okay? The first teacher who came to work this morning found something. Okay? Mr. Junoichi was found dead in the middle of the school grounds. What? They're closing the school for today. But that's not all. I didn't know this either since I didn't watch the morning news, but rumors are spreading that a number of bodies were found nearby. What? There's no way! Why? Could it be? Because of the curse? We don't know enough to say. From what I heard, Mr. Junoichi's body was in the middle of the grounds. But his body was covered in bruises, like he'd fallen from somewhere high. Weird. Taking into account his unnatural death and the timing, it's very likely it has something to do with the curse. You're saying someone used their curse on him last night? Seems like it, doesn't it? But that's so scary. Yeesh. So the curses really do kill people. And someone used it. Shh. Keep your voice down, okay? What would happen if another curse bearer heard you? Oh, sorry. All right. Yeah, it's just updated. I wish we had a little more information, but they've locked up the front gate. Maybe we could sneak in through the back entrance. That person over there is Hitomi Okuda. Isn't that Hitomi Okuda? You're right. That's unusual. Oh, but she was at the school last night, too. She must know something about Mr. Junouchi. Let's see what she has to say. Oh, Mio, wait for me! Huh. So, you're telling me the two of you were the ones at school last night? No sense hiding it then. Plus, I owe you one, Mio. I'll tell you everything I know. Thank you. She owes you? Oh, yeah. Right after I transferred here, there was a bit of trouble. She gave me one of those, what was it? Oh, exorcisms. Huh, so that's what it was. Hitomi, were you possessed by some kind of evil spirit? I don't understand it all too well myself. What I can say for sure is, thanks to Mio, the weird symptoms that were happening to me all went away. Yep, some people are born with a natural sensitivity to the paranormal. They tend to end up isolated as they struggle to relate to the people around them. They also tend to draw spirits to them naturally. This can cause strange symptoms, but this can cause strange symptoms they don't understand, like headaches, muscle stiffness, and hallucinations, even memory problems. I'm sure it must have been very hard. So that's how it works, huh? Do people also have their personality taken over when possessed too? It's possible with spirits to have a very close relationship to their target, like siblings or a parent and child. But you almost never hear about people being taken over completely. It's when the two parties aren't in sync that those negative effects can start to appear. So the seances or whatever you see on TV are all bogus? Not quite. There are mediums and diviners who can align their minds with the spirits they call. Though there are people on TV who are just putting on a performance. Huh. There are people who in life had extremely powerful spirit sense or a deep connection with the person. But even they shouldn't be able to completely take over the person they possess. Even if they could, it'd only be enough to pressure them to choose certain behaviors that wouldn't be unusual for them to do on their own to begin with. But if that's the case, wouldn't you not know if you were choosing that behavior or your will or not? Or your own will or not? Hence why there are lots of cases where people don't even realize they're possessed. Though the spirit may influence the behavior and memories of the host. The deeper their connection in life, the easier it is for that to occur. I see. Getting possessed by a spirit is pretty complicated, huh? It must have been tough for you being possessed for so long, Hitomi. Whatever. Whatever might happen to me doesn't make any difference. Me being able to see spirits and stuff has nothing to do with how things ended up like this. Yeah, it's not like being able to see them is your fault either. The same goes for me. Maybe it's just something we have to live with. I think you have a knack for it yourself, Yako. I bet you could see them too with a little training. I think I may pass. So that's why you do the job you do, huh, Miyo? I thought she was a weirdo when she showed up, all of a sudden saying she was going to exorcise me. If you hadn't said anything, I probably would have knocked your lights out. You tried to perform an exorcism on her without telling her anything? You see, in my experience, most people don't understand no matter how much I explain. They only accept my explanation after they see the results. I guess that makes sense. Did you hear about Mr. Junouchi? Heard about it. I've known about it since last night. I saw that asshole bite it on the school grounds myself. What? You saw it happen? Tell us about it. What happened exactly? Don't really know myself. It was pitch black. What I can tell you, it was almost dawn, probably around 3. He started freaking out all of a sudden, ran onto the ground like something was chasing him, then screamed. Somebody help me! Forgive me! Michiyo! Or something like that while he was running around. Michiyo? He mentioned Michiyo? Was there anyone else out on the grounds? It was too dark to see from where I was. But for just a second, I think I saw a girl in a school uniform with her hair in braids. Oh? I didn't go out to make sure, so it could have been for nothing for all I know. Then I heard him begging for his life like, I was wrong, and I'll do anything. Then all of a sudden, his arms and legs snapped, even though he was just standing there. His arms and legs broke without anything being done to him. He fell over a bit and quit moving, so I thought I better get out of there. Then he croaked. That's all I saw. I see. But from what you've told us, it almost sounds like Michiyo's ghost chased down Mr. Junouchi and killed him. Hell if I know anything about that. I'm just telling you what I heard him say. Did you tell that story to the police? Nope, and I ain't gonna. Can't count on them for shit. Not like they believe such an insane story anyways. Right. But there must be at least one person in the police worth trusting, right? Yeah, I guess. There was this one cop who always got on my case about stuff. But he died just the other day. Oh, he did? I'm sorry to hear that. Everyone who gets involved with me ends up dead. Maybe I really am cursed. Pisses me off. You've got it all wrong. The spirit that possessed you wasn't that kind of spirit. Huh? It wasn't? Yeah, this was just an unfortunate coincidence. Though I'm sure that was hard enough for you. That's all I know about that asshole's death. Hey, Mio, I've been thinking something. The way she described it reminded me of something. The way Mr. Junouchi died? It sounds a lot like how Michiyo died. It really does. Of course, I didn't see it myself, but the state Michiyo's body was in, it was like she had fallen from high up. Could they have been killed by the same curse? I think so. The curses of the 7 mysteries hadn't manifested when she died. Oh, I don't think so, because they hadn't manifested when she died. And if we can trust what the spirit board said, then Michiyo died in an accident. Oh, right. Hitomi, last night before you witnessed Mr. Junouchi collapse, can I ask what he and you were doing in the classroom? You gonna tell the cops? Oh, right. With everything that happened with Mr. Junouchi, they'll suspect you if we told them we saw you with him that night. Anytime something happens with someone like me, all those shitty adults start jumping to conclusions. I understand. I won't tell them. We wouldn't have been able to kill him anyway. If you say so, then I don't mind telling you about it. So last night, that piece of shit Junouchi called me over here, acting like he was gonna attack me or something. What? How terrible. Whatever. I'm glad he's dead. He had it coming. Calling people worthless and a cancer on society. He doesn't know shit about them. That asshole was the one always acting like scum if you ask me. Is that so? Could you tell us in more detail why he called you out in the middle of the night? It's hard to explain. Where to start? What did you mean by Mr. Junouchi acting like scum? Was he doing something bad? You know Michiyo Shiraishi, right? The girl who killed herself? Huh? Michiyo? I don't know everything, but that creep of a teacher had some dirt on her. And he was using it to blackmail her. Call her up after school and make her do whatever he wanted. What do you mean when you say whatever he wanted? I'll leave it to your imagination. Nothing that a couple model students like you would ever get involved in. No way, that's... How? What do you mean by dirt? I don't know anything about this. How could I have not known about this? Yako, I know how you feel, but try to calm down. You got guts acting like you were her friend. Junouchi really did a number on both Michiyo's body and soul. Ouch. She probably felt she couldn't tell anyone, like she had to suffer alone. No! How terrible! Hitomi, how do you know about this? I just happened to walk in on it. I know the spots around school people go to when they want to stay out of sight. He ran off in a panic when I yelled at him, asking what he was doing. Walked in on it? Couldn't just leave her alone, looking like she was about to cry. So I stuck around for a bit. She told me everything that happened in whispers. She probably figured I wasn't the type to spread that stuff around. But she never asked for my help. She told me that she was fine and to keep it a secret. Michiyo, why? She probably thought she just had to grit her teeth till it was through. She was naive. I tried to tell her that if you give guys like that an inch, they'll take a mile. She kept saying about how it was her punishment. She was soft. No. Of course, Junouchi didn't change. He kept on doing what he was doing. I don't understand either of them, but that's as much as I was involved. And then she killed herself. Nothing I can do about it now. He told me if you knew about it, then why didn't you... You trying to say it's my fault? She told me not to say anything. She told me she was fine. So what the hell? So what the hell more responsibility do I have other than what I already did? Yako, there's no point blaming Hitomi. Michiyo, Hi. Did you hear what the dirt was? Nope, never heard what it was. But from the sound of it, he'd been blackmailing her since about a year ago. For that long? The dick probably caught her doing something she shouldn't have been. She looked well behaved, but there's more to a person than meets the eye, you know? There must be some reason. Don't know, got nothing to do with me. So, last night, how did it start? Ah, right. Remember that nosy cop I mentioned who was always on my case? He died at the former Yasuda Gardens a couple of days ago. Yoshimi was his name. He was part of the juvenile division. He didn't look like a cop at all. Real rough guy. But good at looking out for folks. So he was the only one I could talk to. Huh, so there was someone like that with the police. Too bad he ended up dying. Oh, another thing. One time, he suddenly introduced his fiancée to me. It was hilarious seeing a big guy like that acting like a shy little kid all of a sudden. She told me that she was like me when she was my age, and that she was on my side. It must have been a terrible loss for her, too. Yeah, I do feel a little bad for her when I think about how sad she must be. And I saw him at the gardens the night he died. Oh no. Whenever I would get worked up over something, Yoshimi always took me straight to that park. Then he'd listen to whatever it was I was pissed off about. That day, he called me over there like usual. But something seemed off about him, like he was worried about something. Worried about something? Yeah, he asked me for a favor too. That was pretty unusual. A favor? What kind of favor? He handed me a weird talisman and asked me to hold on to it for him. A talisman? Yeah, just a normal good luck charm. I figured if that's it, then sure, I'll take it. I have it with me now. But that wasn't all. Then he told me that he wanted me to look for a talisman Michiyo Shiraishi had that looked like this one. Huh? Michiyo? What does she have to do with this? Yoshimi had been meeting up and talking with her. While they were together, he noticed that she had like a special talisman or something. But apparently, Michiyo always avoided the subject. A talisman that Michiyo had. He knew that I knew her, so that's why he asked me, he said. Could there have been something that Michiyo couldn't tell even the police about? I know things at home were a little complicated. From what I heard, Michiyo was keeping her mouth shut about what Junouchi was doing to her. Hard to talk with the cops when someone's got dirt on you. And I didn't squeal on anything about Michiyo either. Michiyo, what is it that had such a strong grip on you? So basically, Yoshimi didn't just have his eye on Michiyo, but her talisman too. After she died, he didn't know where it ended up. So, since I knew her from school, he wanted me to look into it for him. Is there something special about the two talismans? I wonder why he gave it to you. Hell if I know. When I looked inside, there's just a weird kind of grimy scrap of wood. So you've seen inside it. But from the way he was acting, it seemed important to him somehow. To be honest, what he was asking is such a pain in the ass. I figured he had to be serious about it. Oh, and since he died right after that, yeah, he even said to me, if anything happens to me, take those two talismans. Given to a guy named Nakagoshi at the police department. Knowing what I know now, he probably felt that something was going to happen to him. Nakagoshi? Do you know him, Mio? No, I've just heard the name, I think. So there really is a Nakagoshi. That's a relief, at least. Anyway, it didn't feel right just ignoring a dead guy's last request. Hitomi. Yeah? That talisman, would you mind if I had a look at it? Sorry, but I don't trust you all that much yet. It's important to me. Oh, okay. What you described does sound like Michiyo killed Mr. Junouchi. She did have a reason to hate him after all. No way. You mean that really was her ghost? Like, for real? Those who die bearing strong resentment or regret can occasionally become spirits, either bound to a place or roaming freely. However, it'd usually be impossible for them to kill the living. Most don't have that kind of power. But it's possible they could possess someone close to them to act on those lingering regrets. Huh. Wonder if that's what happened. Alright, then supposing that what the spirit board said is true, and Michiyo's death was an accident, then she must have had some regrets. If she really hadn't given up on living, that is. I don't think she was the kind of girl who would just give up no matter what the situation. I really don't know, but she didn't seem like she had something tormenting her so much that she'd kill herself. So, last night you were looking for the talisman Michiyo had? Yeah. And I figured that piece of garbage teacher would know the most about Michiyo. I asked him yesterday afternoon if he knew anything about her talisman. He gave me some cryptic response like, I can't talk about it now, come to school tonight. He even gave me the code to the lock on the back entrance. He seemed pretty willing to give it out, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's used it for secret meetings before. Yuck, I can only imagine. We climbed over the front gate to get in. So yeah, we met up in the classroom in the middle of the night. But nothing he said made any sense. Like that I was really Michiyo and stuff like that. And he went on and on about how it was my fault and that if only I hadn't been around or something. He grabbed a hold of me, breathing heavily. Were you okay? Yeah, that's right when you two showed up. I was able to get away while Junouchi was freaking out. Oh my gosh, good thing you got away. So it's really all thanks to you two that I got away. But I didn't get any info about the talisman, so the whole thing was sort of a bust. Afterwards, I was wondering what you two were up to, so I hid nearby. Then I saw you and old man Ashimiya talking, and then Mio showed up. Oh, you did? That's also why I saw Junouchi come back outside and bite it. I see. So, you were the only one here to look for Michiyo's talisman. And that's all I know. Happy? I still gotta look for the talisman. Sure. Thank you, Hitomi. Oh, if you two find out anything about Michiyo's talisman, we'll be sure to let you know. Thanks. Oh, can we get your contact info? Where can we normally find you? Right, I'm not home most of the time. Usually I'm at a friend's place. Here's the phone number. Thanks. We'll call her if we need to talk with you. And, what is it? You're easier to talk to than I imagined. I was kind of scared at first, but not anymore. Shut up. You were the one avoiding me. Anyway, catch you later. And don't die out there, okay? Thanks. We'll be careful. All right then. We got a lot of new information. Sounds like Mr. Junoichi was killed by a curse, just as we thought. Which means there was a curse bearer at the school. Multiple, in fact. Multiple? You think so? Yes. The curse echo we experienced in the school was the one that killed Mr. Juno, and the one that killed Mr. Junouchi seemed to be different. The people in the school at the time other than us were Mr. Junouchi, Hitomi, and old man Ashimiya, who you ran into. I was thinking it would be among them, but there was one more person. Hitomi saw a girl in a school uniform with braids. From what Hitomi was saying, it doesn't seem like she's one. Mr. Junouchi is pretty suspicious, though. If he were a curse bearer, it would certainly explain why he was killed. Right, that's why I say there are multiple. Oh, right. The person who killed Mr. Junouchi would have to be one too. Which means it must be either the mysterious girl or old man Ashimiya? Yeah, we should certainly be careful of them. That said, the mysterious girl and the fact that Mr. Junouchi thought it was Michiyo that was attacking him has me wondering. Of course, I doubt Michiyo herself was actually there, but... Oh, I just remembered. I also saw Mr. Araishi outside the main gate last night. You did? It's likely he's involved with the curses, given that he's the one doing research on the rite of resurrection. So we'll have to be careful of Old Man Ashimiya and Mr. Araishi. I want to believe that not all curse bearers will be hostile, but... As for what we do now, I'd like to find who is responsible for the Feast of Shadows that set this off and how they did it. I don't think we'll be able to end this without stopping it at its source. Huh, that makes sense. In which case, next we should do what exactly? We'll need to talk with Mr. Araishi. He definitely knows something. It should be safer during the day, so I think we should try to look for him. Got it. I'll help in any way I can. But this school is closed. I wonder what he could be. Let's try heading someplace someone may know where he is. Where to go then? And so, Miyo, Kurosuzu, and Yako Sakazaki decided on their next location to investigate. Fancy sushi. Oh, let's see. Resume. Komogata High School with our funky beat. I'm so happy to hear that. Here we are, Komogata High. Classes are suspended for the day, so the students are just kind of wandering around aimlessly. Whoa. There they are. Can we talk to them? Yes. Well, that's... Boss, what is it? You want to talk to those girls? I do. Yeah, I do. This is divine intervention. We were brought here for a reason. Come on, Ario. Huh? What? Hey, aren't you? You must be that high schooler skirting the child labor laws who I've heard so much about. Oh, you must be that high schooler skirting the child labor laws who I've heard so much about. Say that again? Sorry about that. He's with me. Mr. Tsutsumi, if that's how you feel, maybe you should look into improving my working conditions. I prefer not to work for free, to be honest. Don't you worry about that. If you help us out, you can have whatever you want. Boss's treat. Wait. Really? Thank you so much. I've always wanted to go to a fancy sushi place. Oh yeah, like one of those places in Ginza? I've never been. Let's go. We got ourselves a deal, right, boss? The girls are at our service. Hold on now. What just happened? I never said I'd... Sushi? Looking forward to it, boss. Wait, since were you included? Since when were you included? Haha, you guys are funny. You should do stand-up. I agree. So, how much have you been able to figure out? Well, I know it happened around midnight last night. Someone invoked the Feast of Shadows, which boosts the power of curses, then brought forth the 7 mysteries of Honjo. That allows even those who do not have the power to cast curses to gather soul drakes for the rite of resurrection. At least that's my hypothesis. Sounds about right so far. As I'm sure you know, there are actually 9 mysteries, not 7. When the Feast of Shadows was cast, the curse stones appeared before those who wanted the rite at the locales of the 7 mysteries. We've managed to gather 3 curse stones so far, including the one I got first, the Evergreen Beach. You got 3 already? Wow. We have the curse stone of the Fool's Procession. Well, Yako, the girl standing behind me, does. That's me, Yako, the girl standing behind Miyo. She does. Is she alright? We could take it off your hands. Well, the Feast of Shadows has no effect during the day, and there's still something I want to find out. Alright, I'll leave the Fool's Procession with you two then. Thank you. Please keep collecting the other curse stones. I'll be looking for a way to stop the Feast of Shadows. Okay, got it. That should make things go more smoothly. What about the other curse bearers? Have you run into any of them? Well, last night at school? You were here last night? Yes, you see. Huh. You two were using a spirit board? That's so cool. So that's when you ran into the curse echo. I'm glad you survived the encounter. Somehow, we managed to get away without accidentally setting it off. The curse echo we saw took the shape of a woman missing an arm and a leg. What? A woman missing an arm and a leg, that's... the one-sided read. The one-sided read. This is bad. Huh? What's so bad about that one? You idiot! Think! The curse bearer of the one-sided reed is Fumichika Nejima. Fumichika Nejima! He admitted it himself. That's his curse? Oh, that's right. Wait, but if that's the case... Nejima might have been here last night. What? I mean, it's possible he was lying to us, but... What? Who's Nejima? No clue. Huh? You want to talk to me? You'd probably be better off asking Miyo. Oh, okay. Let's think, though. Sushi, huh? Well, that'll solve the case. Well, if that'll solve the case, it's a small price to pay. I'll just expense it to paranormal affairs later. Aria, what do you think? This is one hell of a coincidence, huh? That this random girl you know is already involved in the case? Forensics is still investigating the area. I didn't really want to bring these kids to a place like this, but I made them sound all like, hi. There are too many onlookers outside for us to speak comfortably. Besides, it would be good to have Miyo look around the scene too. Look at that. What's that rope all about? It indicates where Junouchi's body was found. They've moved his body, but this way we still have an idea of how it was found. Yikes, that's a little gross. You can even see how his arms and legs are all ugh. Cool it, Ariel, you're scaring her. This kind of stuff is a little much for a kid. Hey, I'm pretty sure she only asked because you were staring at it so intently. Alright, that's enough. Miyo, what do you think? I knew it the second I looked at the scene. You're right. Traces of a curse still linger here. I figured as much. Does this mean that Junouchi was killed by one of the curses of the Seven Mysteries? Yes, a strong curse like that always leaves behind a trace. Wow, Miyo, you're so calm. Are you used to this kind of thing? I wouldn't say I'm used to it. It just comes with experience, I guess. No? I've heard some stories about you. Didn't you investigate a gruesome scene where someone had been killed by a paranormal attack without even breaking a sweat? Stop it, Mr. Tsutsumi. She's going to get the wrong idea. Whoa, that's amazing! Miyo, you're a professional! You think? Totally! You're cool even in the face of death! That's awesome! When you put it like that, I'm not sure how awesome it is. So a curse was used here, which means the curse bearer must have been on the scene too. Okay. So, Najima is trying to take advantage of the Feast of Shadows for his own nefarious purposes. Huh? He said he's going to massacre the city at sundown today? And he's trying to get your daughter too? That's why we've been trying to find him, but to no avail. Honestly, this information has been the most useful we've gotten so far. So just to be sure, could you tell me who else was in the school last night? Well, as far as we know, there was us, Mr. Junouchi, and one of our classmates, Hitomi. Don't forget old man Ashimiya. Wait, Hitomi? Do you mean Hitomi Okuda? That second-year student? Well, yes, why? Boss. So she was here last night. I saw Hitomi earlier, though, and she didn't seem like a curse bearer to me. You did? Did you talk to her? Yes. Would you mind if we asked you a few questions about that? Hitomi said she didn't want to talk to the police because she was afraid she'd become a suspect. So I can't tell you anything unless you swear you won't drag her into this. Ah, I see. Don't worry. This is about a different matter. A different matter? You mean about that police officer, Mr. Yoshimi? You know about that? Did Hitomi say something about him? Yes, she did actually. Hitomi did say that Mr. Yoshimi entrusted her with something. He did? What was it? Yoshimi gave her a talisman. Yes, apparently he also asked her to look for another one just like it, one that Michiyo had. What kind of talismans could they be, boss? Doesn't ring a bell. But if Yoshimi was talking about him with his dying breath, they must have been pretty important. Did they find a talisman on Michiyo where her body was found? I'll check, but if they did, Yoshimi would have had plenty of time to retrieve it before he died. Right. Would you consider giving us Hitomi's contact information? I'd like to talk to her about this talisman. I'm not sure. She never opened up to anyone except Mr. Yoshimi. I'm no good, huh? I was friends with Yoshimi, though. You don't seem like too bad of a guy. Not all that scary for a cop. But I doubt that'll be enough for her. He really doesn't want to end up becoming a suspect. To be honest, she was a bit wary of us. Well then. Do you think she'd talk to Yoshimi's fiancé? Haven't they met before? Oh, they have. She told us about that. Yes, she might be willing to talk to her. All right then. We better find her fast. You haven't been able to reach her? That's a little worrying. Mayu Chuzawa. We'll let you know as soon as we manage to contact her. Okay, I'd be willing to give Hitomi's contact information to her. Oh, right. One more thing. Hitomi told me that Mr. Yoshimi gave her instructions in the event that something happened to him. He told her to give the talisman to Mr. Nakagoshi from the police headquarters. What? So it was a Nakagoshi case? Why would Yoshimi tell her that? Could you check on that? I will, but, well, I don't know if they'll pick up when I call. Is he with the Paranormal Affairs Bureau? Well, yes, Nakagoshi's the chief, but he's almost never in, so I don't really know the guy. To be honest, I'm not even sure if he exists or if he's just a figurehead. I've never spoken to him myself. All of Paranormal Affairs cases are referred to as Nakagoshi cases. Jeez, what's up with that? Let's keep going. That amulet Hitomi was looking for may be the missing puzzle piece to this mystery. If we're talking about people who were at school last night, there is one more person, though I'm not too clear on the details. There was someone else? Apparently, Hitomi actually saw Mr. Junouchi getting cursed and killed last night. What? Talk about some vital information. What she said happened was... Michiyo was the one who killed Mr. Junouchi. Are you sure it was really Michiyo that she saw? Well, that's what she told me. I wasn't there. That must mean there was another curse bearer here last night. Junouchi was killed by a curse, so someone had to have been here, whether it was Michiyo or not. Damn, boss. Do you think it really could have been Michiyo's ghost? I mean, based on what we've heard, she does have plenty of reasons to be vengeful. Calm down. Just because the paranormal exists doesn't mean just anything is possible. It's still possible that Najima was behind Junouchi's death. But what about Hitomi's story? About this janitor. Ashimiya, was it? How old is he? Do you know how long he's worked here? Huh? Why are you so interested in him all of a sudden? I only just transferred to this school though, so I have no idea. He's around 50 years old. He came to our school about half a year ago. No one knows what he did before, so there are all kinds of rumors about him. I see. Thanks. I think I'm starting to get a better picture of all this. Huh? Listen up. It's not uncommon for former prisoners to find work under an alias after their release. The notoriety attached to their former name can get in the way of proper rehabilitation, you see.
What are you... No way.
Ario, have the officers apprehend the janitor. He worked the night shift, so he might still be in the overnight room. Yes, right away. Bad boss, bad news. Apparently the room's been empty all morning. Sounds like they'd been looking to question Ashimiya too, but couldn't find him anywhere.
No.
That all but confirms it. Just one more thing to check. Are there any photos of this Ashimiya?
The old man seriously hated getting his picture taken. He'd always avoid it.
Ario, call an urgent search for Makoto Ashimiya. We can't let him get away. Yes, sir. I'll contact HQ right away.
Oh my, I didn't expect this at all.
Yeah, how could that old man have been some horrible criminal mastermind? I can't believe it.
And a curse bearer on top of that. To think he was so close to us this whole time. It gives me the chills.
A guy like that really shouldn't have been allowed to work at a high school. Let's hope it isn't already too late.
Oh, I may have shown Ashimiya my curse stone last night.
What? I don't like this one bit. Najima did say he wasn't specifically targeting curse bearers, but...
I'm glad nothing happened to you. Wait, but then, could it have been old man Ashimiya who attacked you in the hallway? I almost told him that you were still in the building too. What? You did? Yikes. Good thing I didn't say anything.
Might have gotten very lucky there, kid.
This is too much. I hope they find him soon. Come on. Come on, long arm of the law. Help us. What was that thing you mentioned about Michiyo earlier? Something about a grudge? Did you know anything about her?
What's your relation?
I'm your friend. I was actually planning to resurrect her at first.
Ah, I see. We gained quite a lot of information from you two. It's only fair we share as well. Tell her, Ario. Alright. Keep in mind, this is just a theory, though.
Okay.
After re-examining the crime scene, Yoshimi concluded that Michiyo's death wasn't a suicide, but a vehicular collision.
Wait, what? An accident?
Being hit by a speeding truck or van would have resulted in similar injuries. The investigation was ordered by Yoshimi, so it seems he had his doubts about it being a suicide.
What? A van? Speeding? Yako? What's wrong? Are you okay? Yes? Wait, was I? To put a stop to the Feast of Shadows, it would help if I knew more about how the curses of those 7 mysteries first came about.
In that case, you're probably best off talking to that crabby researcher guy.
You mean Mr. Araishi? I would very much like to talk to him. To put a stop to the Feast of Shadows, It would help if I knew more about how the curses of the Seven Mysteries first came about.
In that case, you're probably best off talking to that crabby researcher guy.
You mean Mr. Araishi? I would very much like to talk to him.
Ah, right. He's a teacher here too, isn't he? You would know him already. He might be more inclined to talk if it's one of his students doing the asking.
Do you know where he is?
I do. We tried to talk to him, but he refused to cooperate. But you two should give it a try. He's at his usual cafe working on his papers.
The cafe? Oh, Kurokikyo Cafe in Kamizawa? Thanks. We'll head over there now. School rules say we're not allowed to go to cafes, though.
Oh, that's interesting. Why is that? Don't worry about it. I'll allow it.
Thank you.
Huh? That's all it takes?
There must be a mastermind behind everything. Someone who orchestrated all of this for a reason. I want to find out why. What was that thing you mentioned about Michiyo earlier? Something about a grudge? Did you know anything about her?
What's your relation?
I'm her friend. I was actually planning to resurrect her at first.
Ah, I see. We gained quite a lot of information from you two. It's only fair we share as well. Tell her, Ario. All right. Keep in mind that this is just a theory, though.
Okay.
After re-examining the crime scene, Yoshimi concluded that Michiyo's death wasn't a suicide, but a vehicular collision.
Wait, what? An accident?
Being hit by a speeding truck or van would have resulted in similar injuries. The investigation was ordered by Yoshimi, so it seems he had his doubts about it being a suicide.
What? A van? Speeding? Yako, what's wrong? Are you okay?
Screaming. Oh, jeez.
A van. There's a young man in the driver's seat. In the passenger seat, a woman? Yako! Yes. Wait, was I... Are you back now? How do you feel? You're covered in sweat. Yeah, I'm okay, I think. Sorry, I went a little crazy there.
It's no problem as long as you're okay. That was quite the surprise, though. What was that about?
Yoshimi talked to you about Michiyo, didn't he?
Well, he didn't give me any specifics if you're wondering about that. So I don't know what was truly on Michiyo's mind either.
Right.
Do you have any idea why Junouchi was so scared of Michiyo?
Well, about that, I'm not sure exactly how to put this, but...
I see. Well, I half expected it was something like that. Thank you for telling me.
Sorry, it's hard to explain.
I wonder what he got his hands on to be able to blackmail her like that.
Michiyo, what happened?
Hey boss, forensics is calling. I'll go see what they have to say. Sure, thanks. Boss, they found this on the ground a short distance away from this scene. What is that? A ribbon?
Yeah, the kind you use to tie up your hair. What? I've seen that ribbon before.
You have? Go on then.
That's the ribbon that Michiyo always used to wear.
What? Doesn't that mean that Michiyo was here? Are you sure?
Definitely. I have the same one at home. We bought them together. Must be hers.
Then, did she come back to life somehow?
But how?
Whoa.
If I was Michiyo and I came back to life, where would I go?
That's the question. She got her revenge on Junoichi, but she may have more revenge to dish out.
Is there anyone else she'd have a grudge against?
Well, what about the guy who killed her in the collision?
If she really did come back to life, then it's terribly sad that she's spending her new chance at life like this. Being obsessed with revenge is such a tragic way to live. I'm afraid that's all we can tell you.
Don't worry, you were a big help. Thank you. We should start our own search for Najima and Mayu Chizawa. It might be worth it to check Michiyo's house as well, just in case. Let's use the school as our base of operations. If anything happens, go to one of the officers hanging around here.
Got it. Thank you, and good luck. We'll go talk to Miss Araishi about a way to lift this curse.
All right, boss. Let's get going whenever you're ready. Let's go talk. Seimon.
The rite of resurrection is the inception of this whole affair. Yako and Mio decide to confront the man responsible for spreading rumors of it in the first place, Hideki Araishi. They find him at his frequent stomping grounds, the Kuro Kikyo Cafe.
I see a bird. You know, normally you'd be breaking school rules just by stepping foot in a cafe. I'll be in hot water if you lied about having permission from the police. Remember that.
We know. It'll be okay.
So, what did you want to ask me? Well, first, give me that. So cute. Sparring Sparrow Bros.
A cafe? I've never been to one before. How exciting! It's pretty smelly inside because of the cigarette smoke, but...
Kuro Kikyo Cafe, a coffee shop on South Waidegesui Street. Kuro Kikyo Cafe's convenient location has made it a favorite of businessmen in the neighborhood. Although formerly a relaxing location where classical and jazz music were played, the cafe has begun incorporating some pop songs into its playlist at the request of customers. The most popular menu item is a pilaf served with black coffee, although cream soda topped with a large scoop of ice cream is also a popular choice. Fashionable cafes featuring jazz and live performances were in vogue until the mid-Showa era, when the number of cafes offering a carefully brewed cup of coffee and a relaxed atmosphere began to increase. Many of these locations also have public telephones, making them convenient meeting places. However, they also developed a reputation as hangout spots for delinquents, leading to a large number of schools to forbid their students from patronizing them. In recent years, table arcade games have become a big hit, affording cafes installing them a steady stream of customers. Yako, if you would. Right. We wanted to ask you about this. Oh my, a curse stone. An Okame mask? That must mean the Fool's Procession. You two were at the school last night? Damn, there of all places. Yako, you're one of them? You're a curse bearer. Please calm down, Mr. Araishi. Your reaction is too intense. It's kind of scaring me. Sorry about that. I'm afraid I got ahead of myself. What is it you wanted to know about your curse stone? What would be the best way to approach this? Let's see. He's not the type to take to intimidation, I'm pretty sure, so let's go ahead and flatter him. It's just a brilliant teacher like you must know an awful lot about these curse stones. Well, it's true that I'm likely the person most well-versed in this matter. You're the only one we can count on, Mr. Araishi. Won't you help us, please? Oh, am I now? In that case, there's no harm hearing what you have to ask. Thank you. Let's see. Why is everything with the Rite of Resurrection and Seven Mysteries curse stones happening now? Oh, taking an interest now that you've received one of the curses, have you? You sound like a researcher, starting your questioning with your subject's origins. Mr. Araishi, you're not the one who triggered the curse, are you? No, I'm afraid I had nothing to do with that. Rather, I wasn't even attempting to do so in the first place. Completing the rite itself has nothing to do with my research. Then, do you know of the ancient Onmyodo ritual known as the Feast of Shadows? What is that? Something from the occult? Ms. Kurosuzu, you look like the type to be interested in those things, but it's outside my field of expertise. In that case, why do you think the rite and curses have appeared now? I believe this is the intentional work of someone. It's certainly not something that would happen by accident. Why is it you want to know? Well, he may not tell us anything else if we say that we're trying to stop the curse. We need to make something up. Right. Well, you see, we just have such intellectual curiosity and think it could really help your research. I see. Now that you mention it. Seems like he's reluctant to answer. Then how about... He does like asking about his research. I don't think he cares about our feelings. Then what does the record of fates that you've been researching say about the Rite of Resurrection? Oh, I see. That's what you want to know. Allow me first to elucidate you regarding the author of the Record of Fates. A special privilege, I might add, since I have yet to publish this in a paper. Yeah, okay. The Record of Fates was written 200 years ago in the latter half of the Edo period. It was written by a skilled but little-known onmyoji called Seimon Tsuchimikado. Okay. This is important stuff. If nothing else, remember this. Seimon Tsuchimikado? I've never heard of him. I'm sure you haven't. He was born into a famed Onmyoji family, but split away to practice forbidden arts in secret. He used whatever name was most convenient for the situation, so his real name barely exists in records. Or so it is written in the Record of Fates. Huh. As brilliant as Seimon was, he was also an eccentric. He delved into researching the Rite of Resurrection, a legendary forbidden ritual that has never been completed. However, by involving himself with this forbidden ritual, he was expelled from his family and eventually found himself in Honjo in Edo. The Record of Fates are the writings of Seimon, recorded on the road to Edo. Oh, there are the writings that he recorded, got it. I see. So he wrote how to perform the rite itself? The Rite of Resurrection makes use of Abe no Seimi's specialty, the Taizan Fukun ritual, a means of communicating with the afterlife. It uses soul dregs to replicate the soul of a dead spirit that has been called. Oh, wow. I never knew something like that existed. Thus, it is thought the only ones who can use it are those with the ability to turn human souls into soul dregs in the first place. So, the Rite of Resurrection calls for that ritual to be performed in advance. Then, when the soul dregs are gathered and infused with the wish of whoever is performing the ritual, it can be completed. The contents written in the Record of Fates end there. There's no more? What about the 7 mysteries or the curse stones? There's nothing written about them in the Record of Fates. The curse stones are separate from the Rite of Resurrection. Their curse is one used to enable one who is unable to perform such rituals to be able to use the rite. Huh, that's similar to what Mio said, actually. Onmyoji. An officially appointed government position with the Bureau of Onmyo in medieval Japan, Onmyoji were tasked with performing divinations and rituals. They would employ the Chinese philosophies of yin and yang and wusheng, the 5 elements, to compose astronomical charts and almanacs. High-ranking practitioners used a variety of mystical arts, including ones that brought natural disasters and curses. Onmyoji were also tasked with exorcising demons through the usage of shikigami. Onmyoji thrived during the Heian period, in part due to the work of the famous Onmyoji and later founder of the Tsuchimikado clan, Abe no Seimei. However, Onmyoji began to gradually decline in number after samurai gained control of Japan. At the same time, many of their miraculous arts were lost, along with the development of civilization. Although the services of Onmyoji were typically reserved for the upper class, there were a number of shonmonji, or hidden Onmyoji, who worked for the common folk. Okay, so according to the Record of Fates, this mysterious ritual was devised by the gifted Onmyoji Abe no Seimei. It converts the souls of the dead bound for the underworld with soul dregs collected as sacrifices through the Taizan Fukun ritual. This secret art of converting souls to soul dregs is out of reach to all but the most skilled practitioners. Excuse me, Mr. Araishi? What is it, Miss Kurosuzu? You published a theory before the incident took place. It said that the Rite of Resurrection and origin of the 7 mysteries of Honjo are related somehow. What proof did you have of that? You really know your stuff, but about that. That was a somewhat sensationalized piece of written for occult magazines. Oh, really? It was just nonsense then? Not exactly. Rather, it's not a complete fabrication. There is a basis for it. And that is, well, I suppose there's no harm telling a couple of students so passionate about this topic. Thank you. This is something I discovered from referencing numerous texts unrelated to the record of fates. It was just after Seimon arrived in Honjo. There are records of a conflict over a ritual used to resurrect the dead in Honjo. A conflict over resurrecting the dead? I don't know the details. A man enticed the public with claims of a spell that could resurrect the dead, causing a conflict that ended tragically with 9 dead. That is the only remaining reference. 9 people fighting over a resurrection ritual. I call this tragedy the Honjo incident, and has long been the subject of my research. And I suspect that this Honjo incident might be the very origin of the 7 mysteries of Honjo. So what you're saying is, the resurrection ritual at the root of the Honjo incident is Seimon's rite of resurrection? Yes, that is how the record of fates ties everything together. To put it in chronological order, first, Seimon brought the rite of resurrection to Edo. We can assume that by this point, Seimon was likely using a different name. Then, in Honjo, 9 people fought to the death over the rite, the Honjo incident. After that, the incident was covered up by an interested party, preventing it from being recorded in history fully. Eventually, it was passed down in incomplete pieces, becoming known as the 7 Mysteries of Honjo. That's more or less the course of events. During the Edo period, a chain of events that occurred around a certain resurrection spell became the basis for the 7 Mysteries of Honjo. So that's how they're connected. Then, if I'm getting this right, the 7 mysteries were basically required to gather the soul dregs necessary for the rite. And there's more. With this most recent occurrence of the curse, I've become even more confident in my theory. You are? Yes, the reason for it being the resentful memories of the 7 mysteries etched into those who received the curse stones. Resentful memories? Yako, if you really are a curse bearer, then when you obtained your curse stone, you would have had a resentful memory imprinted in your mind. Oh, I did? Exactly. Those memories are what happened in the final moments of the 9 who died in the Honjo incident. Broadly speaking, they involve dying while bearing some kind of deep resentment. The 9 victims became the 9 curse echoes, which over time came to be spoken of as the 7 mysteries. Thus, gathering the resentful memories granted by the present curses and connecting them together, it will reveal once and for all what happened during the Honjo incident. Huh. That's why you must tell me about the resentful memory of your fool's possession, Yako.
Mio, should I? Yeah, I think it's okay. We need all the information we can get. Okay, Mr. Araishi, I'll tell you about the memory of the fool's procession.
Excellent. So basically, it's about a woman who died falling from a Yagura tower at a festival. Interesting. It's not that one, then.
Not that one? What do you mean?
Among the 9 victims at the Honjo incidents, that is to say, the 9 curse echoes, one of them is Seimon himself, or I suspect.
Huh? Seimon was one of the victims at the Honjo incident too? Meaning an onmyoji as powerful as him also became a curse echo?
Right. It would make sense that the cursed stone tied to the cursed echo like that would be special.
The power of a cursed stone is different based on the cursed echo? Mio, Mio, Mio! Then maybe with Seimon's curse echo, we could... Yes, we may be able to settle this whole situation.
Hey, what are you two whispering about?
Oh, nothing. Sorry. Mr. Araishi, how many of the resentful memories have you gathered so far?
I've learned a number of them. The Evergreen Beach, the Foot-Washing Mansion, the Ever-Burning Lantern, and now the Fool's Procession makes 4. Of those, the most important are the Foot-Washing Mansion and the Evergreen Beach.
What are they about?
First, the Foot-Washing Mansion. An Onryoji appears distinctly in this one.
Really?
But not Seimon, I'm afraid. A female Onryoji who sought the rite of resurrection due to her obsession with her personal appearance. Her legs, which she had always taken pride in, were stricken with corruption after she was defeated by Seimon. Her curse echo is notable for being particularly easy to fulfill the requirements necessary to use the curse. That detective did well to escape this one.
So a female Onryoji and rival of Seimon was involved in the Honjo incident. That certainly is interesting.
Next, the Evergreen Beach. This curse echo is from a craftsman of Netsuke carvings named Jinkichi, who was hanged for spreading baseless rumors. He apparently spoke of something that granted the ability to bring back the dead.
The rite of resurrection.
Precisely. This man, Jinkichi, must have been in contact with Seimon. If I could just collect all of the memories, everything will be revealed and the truth of the 7 mysteries will be mine. That is the knowledge I desire.
Meaning, you need to gather as much information as you can from the curse bearers.
Precisely. I have an agreement to exchange information with those detectives. But they might not even find the other curse bearers, so I must take measures of my own.
Another thing.
Yes.
You never really finished about what the trigger for all this was.
I don't know.
Really? You're not hiding something from us, are you? It has something to do with how you obtained the Record of Fates, right? How did you really get a hold of the Records of Fate? Record of Fates? To tell you the truth, we're in a race against time. It could be a disaster if we don't hurry.
What are you talking about?
Someone left a warning that at sundown today, they would use the curse to kill a lot of people. The one who left the message is the culprit behind the Najima murders from 20 years ago.
What? So something terrible will happen.
I won't allow potentially hundreds of people to become victims of a curse. I'll do anything in my power to stop it. Mr. Araishi, please, tell us everything you know.
I'm sorry, but I truly don't know anything. The truth is, I was given the Record of Fates by a woman.
A woman?
Well, her voice sounded like a woman's, but I didn't actually see what she looked like. 1 month ago, while I was investigating at night, I suddenly heard a formless voice.
A woman's voice?
It said, "I entrust you with this ancient manuscript and the rite of resurrection held within its pages. Spread rumors of this ritual as far and wide as you can in the coming month." And before I knew it, an old document had fallen down at my feet. 1 month. She specified the time period. I was told if I did that, I could study the manuscript as much as I pleased. I wanted so badly to verify its authenticity, I ended up accepting. I haven't heard anything from the voice since then. It must have had you spread rumors in order to strengthen the power of the curse, to tie together the curse and the desire to seek out the right. This makes it likely that the owner of the voice is the mastermind behind all of this. Hence, I went public with the Record of Fates. Hihaku and occult magazines immediately jumping at the news was a financial boon for me. Huh? Hihaku? As in Hihaku soaps? Right. I mean, no, that's not important. Just some personal business. After that, I waited, trying to predict what would occur in the month's time. That's when the curse began. Those are all the details I have. Very well. I've told you this much. I may as well give you one more thing. Thank you. What may that be? About Seimon's Record of Fates. There is a sort of continuation to it. Another document called Record of Fates Yin Scroll. A continuation? Actually, a section written in Seimon's own hand was appended to the manuscript, according to which, after the Honjo incident, Seimon lamented such a calamity taking place. He apparently wrote the addendum for the event that the tragedy became its own curse. It seems he had an idea that the victims of the Honjo incident would turn into curse echoes and be used to gather soul dregs. It supposedly details how to handle any trouble that occurs as a result of the rite of resurrection. Really? Hold on a second. Don't you find that strange? What's the matter, Miss Sakazaki? You think my information is inaccurate? If Seimon died in the Honjo incident, then he couldn't have written an addendum. You really don't get it, do you? Huh? Am I wrong? Have you forgotten the ability Seimon possessed? Of course not. He could use the rite of Oh! You're telling me Seimon used it on himself? The rite of resurrection can be carried out in advance so that it activates when the soul dregs are gathered together. Then is it not possible that Seimon himself was resurrected by the rite after it all took place? But he still had to collect the soul dregs needed to use the rite? Yes, and that's why they died, the 8 others besides Seimon. What? They died in the Honjo incident for their soul dregs? That sounds like it's the same as what's happening now. That's why I need the resentful memories to learn the truth. I get it now. The issue at hand is that the Yin Scroll and the Record of Fates were supposed to have been passed down as a set. When I received the Record of Fates, the Yin Scroll was gone. Only this information was left. Supposedly, Seimon's blood descendants guarded it as they passed it down across generations. It seems that over their long history, the 2 documents became separated and the scroll's location lost as the family line branched. Seimon had descendants? So there's someone out there related to him by blood, even now? Yes, in fact, I've tried to trace the line as far as I could. He wasn't a well-known Onmyoji to begin with, so a detailed family tree does not exist. It seems likely that the use of the manuscript has been long forgotten, only being passed down out of tradition. And since they aren't even aware of what they have, tracking it down is quite tricky indeed. I wish I could ask whoever that voice belonged to about the Yin Scroll. I'm sure you do.
So basically, in the Record of Fate's Yin scroll, Seimon himself wrote about ways to handle the curse and the rite, yes?
Yes, that's right. I've been searching for it all this time, but haven't found a single lead. So, if you two find out anything about other resentful memories or Yin scroll, tell me immediately. You owe me that much for telling you all this, do you not? That's the real extent of everything I know.
The Record of Fate's Yin scroll. It is said that Seimon Tsuchimikado, author of the Record of Fates, wrote the Yin scroll because he feared that the descendants of those involved in the Honcho incident might become cursed and used in the collection of soul dregs for the rite of resurrection. The existence of the Yin scroll was indicated in a postscript added to the Record of Fates, but its whereabouts are currently unknown. It is believed to have been inherited by a descendant of Seimon. The Record of Fates, trusted to him by a mysterious voice. The manuscript was written by Seimon Tsuchimikado, an onmyoji from the Edo period. He was an extraordinarily adept practitioner, but after being banished from his family for researching forbidden arts, he changed his name and moved to Edo. Yes, I understand. Thank you for your help.
If you bring me some useful information, I'll take it into consideration for your school grades as well. Oh boy.
Learned a lot. So, to sum it up, there was a tragic incident with people cursing each other for the rite of resurrection in the Edo period as well. And the Record of Fate's Yin scroll may have info we want, since it details how to stop the rite. I think that's about it? Right. If we could just find the Yin scroll, we might be able to learn how to settle this situation. But even Mr. Araishi didn't have any leads on where it is. How do we start looking for it? Someone involved in this now must have some connection to it, I think. I have a feeling the mastermind who awakened the curses is involved too. Right. So, Mio, what are we going to do next? Good question. It may be best to give the information we just learned to Inspector Tsutsumi. We got a pretty big clue from hearing about the Record of Fate's Yin scroll. Mr. Tsutsumi might know more about it. Should we go back to school then? Yeah, that's our point of contact after all. Whoever's behind that voice that gave Mr. Araishi the Record of Fates, that must be the mastermind, don't you think? Yeah, and he said it sounded like it belonged to a woman. Whoever it is, I bet they're scary. Huh? You don't sound like the Yako I know. Let's catch him and make them spill the beans. I thought you'd say something like that. Really? I guess I'm just not really feeling that confident right now. I understand. I don't know if it's related to that woman behind the voice, but I'm also interested in the female onmyoji who was a rival of Seimon. Oh, that reminds me, Mio. You know what's nearby here, don't you? Oh, you mean where Michiyo... Yeah, where it happened. I was going there every day to leave flowers, even though they always get cleared away anyways. I'm sure it must be hard to have to be reminded of Michiyo's death all the time. Oh, that reminds me. Yako? Yeah? When you asked me to do the spirit board 2 days ago, Did you come here that day too? Yeah, we left some flowers before going to school. Why? Did anything seem different that day? What's this all of a sudden? Though, now that you mention it, that day I suddenly felt lightheaded and then it ended up passing out for a little bit. But I came to right away and felt fine, so I didn't think anything of it. I see. That's all I was wondering about. Thanks.
Excuse me, you girls over there. Oh, it's this asshole. Whoa. Sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but something you said caught my attention.
And who might you be?
I'm Yutaro Namigaki. I should probably tell you, until yesterday I was a curse bearer. That should clear things up.
A curse bearer?
Oh, you don't need to be scared. I've already given up the curse stone of the foot washing mansion.
The foot washing mansion. So you're the one Inspector Satsumi was talking about?
Ah, you already know Inspector Satsumi. That makes it simple. There's nothing to worry about.
Oh, hey. You're in the driver's seat. Yaka? Yes? Wait, what? Just now, was I doing something? Sorry, Mr. Namigaki, what might be the matter?
Right, I actually wanted to discuss something with you two. Would you come with me if you have a little time?
Discuss something with us?
You were talking about Michiyo Shiraishi, right? It's related to that.
Huh?
I'm sure you will learn a few things yourselves. If not now, later is fine. I'll be waiting around Ryogoku Bridge.
Something rubs me the wrong way about this. But he mentioned Michiyo. What do we do? Well, I suppose you may as well hear what it is you have to say.
Glad to hear it. Then shall we relocate elsewhere? Is it gonna kill us? Why did I choose that?
So, what did you want to discuss with us?
Let's see, how do I put this? I'll tell you straight. I want you two to use your curse stones to bring Michiyo Shiraishi back from the dead.
What?
Huh? It's why I was pursuing the rite of resurrection in the first place. Unfortunately, I had to give up my curse stone before I could succeed. But you two are curse bearers with some kind of connection to her. Which means this is the perfect opportunity for me to ask you for this.
What? Well, I'm sorry, this is all so sudden. I still don't know why you would want this. What exactly is your relationship with Michiyo?
Well, we met briefly once. I was so sad to hear the news of her death the other day.
Right. Well, it would be great if we could bring Michiyo back, but we've already decided not to use the rite of resurrection.
Is that so? It seems, however, that we share a goal. I wouldn't mind collecting the soul dregs for you if you gave me your curse stone, you know?
We'll have to decline that as well. Our goal is to stop this curse.
I see. Well, that's too bad. I suppose I'll have to give up on the curse stones.
Thank you for understanding.
Yako, come back.
I thought he was a little suspicious, but he left without making a fuss. But why does he want to bring Michiyo back? Huh? Yako? Uh-oh. Did she go off somewhere while we were talking?
I have finally caught up to you. I don't know if you noticed me following you or not, but leading me to a secluded place, you've got guts. I'm sorry, but I'll be taking your curse stone. Either you hand it over, or I'll have to take it by force. What? What are you? No. She's here again. I don't understand. Wait. It was just an accident. I swear, I didn't mean to. That's why I was trying to bring you back. You're already too late. Whoa! What? Did I just beat the game? What? No. Visit Sumida Tourism Office? Did I see that? I'll have to check it out. I'm sure that's just one ending. After this, Fumichika Majijima went on to use the power of his curse to commit mass murder, shocking the police with the unprecedented tragedy. And from that day on, Yako Sakazaki was never heard from again. Ending number 1, Michiyo's Grudge. Okay. And we got a achievement. Oh, that's Yaku Sakazaki's ending, according to that. Okay. What if we don't go to him? Oh, shit. Here we go. What a creep. So he killed Michiyo, but why? Okay, let's go to the school instead. Sorry, but there's something we've got to take care of. We'll have to pass. Is that so? Well, that's too bad. I'm in no rush, so I'll be waiting at Ryogoku Bridge if you change your minds. Okay. Well, finally, we've got some answers about poor Michiyo. Poor thing. That really sucks. And that fucking guy, Namigaki, just gonna bring her back just to get his conscience clear. That fucking sucks. But you know, now that I'm thinking about it, also something else comes to mind now is why I don't think Tetsuo Tsutsumi's spoken to Ayame Tono, right? But he seemed a little surprised to hear about it. So I don't know. Right? He hasn't, right? I think it's only been Richter and Hathaway. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting something. But all right, we'll go ahead and call it there, and we will be back next time. Y'all be safe. Bye.